welcome to Queer Games Heck Yeah for today. I hope you're having a good day or about to have a good day. Today's game looks pretty interesting. It's called By Your Hands, a gay, furry visual novel. So if you don't like surprise content, please look away. I have turned on safe for work mode because this is Queer Games Heck Yeah, not Queer Games insert swear word here. But yeah, I think we'll be fine. Before we get started, I wanted to actually take a few moments to check out something on the website from this game that I noticed that I think is really, really cool. So I'm just going to do a little edit and we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. So I went to the website on itch to download By Your Hands. It's a game. The website is Chellaytiger.itch.io, and I noticed they had a blog post, the developer, pointing to a survey they've apparently run it every couple of years, where they just ask gay furry visual novel fans what they like about visual novels. And I just think I just really wholeheartedly support that endeavor, because it's so hard as a game dev to kind of figure out what people want, especially in the queer scene, because it's all kind of like, it is actually really hard to find a safe space to talk about queer themes in games, especially with the algorithms that we have these days that sort everything into completely not safe for work, decadent, hide it everywhere, or like completely sanitized, no politics, no fun, no color, you know what I mean? So when I saw this blog post, I was just like, you know what? Let's take a minute or two to just go through it and just see what players actually want. As I said, so you can actually go look this up yourself on the website. 556 responses. Now, I failed. I failed a whole bunch of maths subjects over the years, but I distinctly recall one of the ones about statistics and probability is that the more respondents you get for a survey, the more accurate it is up to a certain level. And that level is about 1,000. So if you get 1,000 genuinely random responses to your survey, that's pretty accurate. That's almost as accurate as getting like 1 million people. But below 1,000, it starts to get a bit more unreliable, like the margin for errors blow out. So 556 is extremely respectable. That's pretty accurate. I think you'd be very pleased with that result. Of course, one of the problems with like an internet survey is that the respondents are self-selecting. You're certainly not getting a random sampling. Transgender, yeah, 3%, which tracks, I think, with, sort of the general population in a way. Think of all the grief that trans people are getting at the moment, and all the pages and pages of newspapers and the hours of television and YouTube that's been devoted to such a small percentage of the population. Pathetically hurtful, really. Sexual orientation, gay and bisexual are the two big ones. What age group do you fall under? Below 18? 18 to 24. That is a young crowd on itch. Or maybe a young crowd playing visual novels. I actually don't know how to think about that number, really. What region do you currently live in? Oceania. I actually really like the term Oceania. Atlantis would be better, but I think Oceania is a pretty close second. Although, some may say Australia is large enough to be its own thing. A bit like India. People call India the subcontinent because it is actually a tectonic plate that's smashed into Eurasia. But I've never felt obliged to lump it into any other part of the world. I just think India is big enough to be its own thing. And maybe the same with Australia. But I'm happy to be in Oceania with our Oceania cousins. How'd you find the survey? Discord? Discord is so massive at the moment. That's really interesting to me because I don't like Discord. I think of all the problems we've ever had with social networks, and every time they fall over because the owners mess them up, everyone moves to a new one and the same thing happens. Exactly the same thing is going to happen to Discord. It's so obvious that at some point they're going to have to start monetizing it really heavily, or they're going to have to take the data and just on-sell it or lock it up in AI or something ridiculous, and there's just going to be no recourse for it. All that information is going to be lost one day. So if you're building a community on Discord, please make sure you're also getting them on your mailing list or on Mastodon or something, because Discord is going to go away one day. It's so obvious that's going to happen. I sometimes think community networking is too important to leave to companies. I kind of think we need to move to a community-owned model. Anyway, I could give an essay, but I don't want to. Body type preferences. This is an interesting one. Average build. For the main... Oh, I see. So there's two graphs. One for the main character in the game, the character you're playing, what kind of body they should have, and what kind of body should the love interest have. So an average build, not particularly muscular or fat, on par with the average person. So yeah, so that's a pretty classic bell curve skewed towards. So if it was a scale to 1 to 5, then it's sort of hovering around 4, 3.5, which is positive. Twink is a little less popular. In fact, that looks like a classic bell curve. Femme, slightly less popular for the love interest. That's interesting. So what we're saying here that people don't mind playing a femme character, but they don't particularly want the love interest to be femme. Athletic. Oh, athletic's very popular. People like athletic. That's the almost as popular. Okay, much more. It's the most popular for the love interest. Ripped and bodybuilder. What's the difference between athletic, ripped, bodybuilder, and strongman? Yeah, see, in the gay community, it's only in the gay community would you be like, oh, that person's like 5% too muscled, or they're 5% not muscled enough. It's like, we're very particular. Strong man, extremely muscular with this amount of fat, comparable to a classical professional wrestler. What do they mean, like mankind? Yeah, I dig it, as long as he brings the puppet. Comparable to a well-fed blue-collar worker. I mean, see, that was a leading question, because maybe people are upvoting the blue collar. Not necessarily. Oh, sorry, the graph's off the screen. How long has that been happening for? The last 5 minutes. I've been talking about stuff that's not on the screen. Great. So big burly guys is what I'm getting out of the survey. What species is your preferences for the main character? Okay, canines, very popular. Cervines, I guess deer, reindeer. Okay, without looking, how popular are marsupials? That's my main question. Felines, very popular. Boo. Bovines. Okay, so it's between, I think, canines more popular than cats just, but pretty close. Cows, bats. Bats can work. I have a friend whose furry avatar is a dragon, but where I grew up, we didn't have dragons, but we had plenty of fruit bats. And the thing about a dragon head and the thing about a fruit bat head is that they look very similar. So every time I see his avatar on Discord, I'm like, oh, it's the fruit bat. But obviously it's not a fruit bat. And I think getting someone's persona wrong is really actually suboptimal. I'm never proud about it. But the association in your brain is just so strong. And then part of me is like, a fruit bat is so much better than a dragon. But anyway, primates super unpopular. I would have thought like apes, monkeys would be super popular. But maybe that's my primate bias showing. Bears very popular. But wait, do they mean, in this case, they mean animal bears? Otters? I don't really get the otter thing. Once again, I'm more about the marsupials. But so lizards, dragons, and dinosaurs are in their own category, but frogs are in their own one. Seems a bit unfair. Avians, birds, very polite. Whenever I see a bell curve in a survey result, I always think, oh, it's a very polite response. And look how controversial humans are. That's the most split one. That's gold. Okay, we've got to move on. I just wanted to basically highlight that this survey existed, and that I just think that if you have an interest in queer games, as a player or as a developer or as like an academic or like someone who's just into the art scene, this stuff is like gold. And I applaud the dev for doing a bit of like pulse checking of the community, of their players, and also for sharing it. Very generous of you and very entertaining. Let's get back to the actual game that we're here to play today. Alright, we're back. We're back with By Your Hands. It is the middle of winter here, so I'm feeling the dark. It's been a very cold winter because apparently Antarctica is having a heat wave. 20, 30, 40 degrees higher than normal at this time of year. And that hot air over Antarctica has pushed the cold air over Melbourne. So, yes, it's kind of bad news all over the place, really. We're waking up. Oh, we were just flashbacking to a previous life, maybe. Day one. For the entertainment value for the cost, there's almost no better entertainment on the planet, really, than a really long visual novel. My thoughts were still swimming around in my heavy head as I was pulled out of the dream into reality. By what? By that voice calling for me, a familiar voice. I scrambled out of bed, untangling myself. I pressed the button. I'm up. I'll be down in a few minutes. So I made my way into the tiny bathroom attached to my bedroom, splashed some water on my face, and looking at myself in the mirror. Oh. We're a dinosaur. Maybe. Yep, that's me. Jet Abraham. Just your normal average dinosaur. We were frozen. We were iceberged. Yes, dinosaur. Allosaurus to be specific. I rifled around in the fridge to find my breakfast. Egg and sausage. Bright blue skies up ahead, not a single hint of cloud cover. I mean, I can see clouds from here. University of Mammoth? One of the largest, most prestigious in the state, and one of the ones partnered with the lab where Dr. Abraham worked. There were so many other animals, other normal, average students bustling through the front gates, milling around in the main courtyard, minding their own business. I almost jumped out of my scales when a feathered hand lighted on my shoulder. I have the same t-shirt. Chicken thighs save lives. That's great. Well, I see the survey results are quite accurate, and so we're just going to be getting a lot of half bear, half bodybuilder characters. Connor Gordon, he was one of my best friends back when I was a kid. Oh, I thought you were an iceberger. Oh wait, you were iceberged when you were a kid. I see, I'm with you now. Oh, this and that, mostly just keeping busy at work. Gotta earn your keep out here in the real world, you know. So much about visual novels is about trying to make the rent. I actually think it's super interesting. I think the people making these games and the people playing it, the socio-economics of it, you know, it's not rich people making these games. I think that's pretty cool. Our roughhousing started to draw some attention. We've only got half an hour, we'll give it another minute or two, but we finally hit the game proper, I think. What I want is to introduce myself to that new face I see moseying onto my campus. He turned to bare his teeth at me with a wide grin. Who would win in a dinosaur versus tiger fight? I mean, it depends on the dinosaur, I suppose. They'd probably team up to eat the humans. Tigers aren't your friends, humanity. As my friend here... You know, okay, so I don't know if this is true, because I read it on the internet. And I'll wrap up with this. Because the tiger's on screen. Why are tigers bright orange? Like, aren't they in the jungle, in trees? Shouldn't they be green? The thing is, the light wave they emit, like the light bounces off them, is very similar to green. But we have evolved an extremely narrow range to see the color of tigers stand out amongst the green. Because they ate all of the ones that couldn't see them. So we actually have like an evolutionary, it's not even a defect, but like an evolutionary thing where we've grown to be able to see tigers. That's how bad tigers are for us. Once again, we haven't had any choices to make. But I see 3 of them on the screen. I'm pretty sure at some point you'll have at least 3 choices. That was By Your Hands. It's on itch. I should have put the full URL. I'm going to just do that quickly because I feel like, you know, we did actually visit the website as part of today's episode. Alright. Just because I think it's fair, I really encourage you to go visit this website. Play the games. They actually have made several games, but By Your Hands is the one that's in the festival. And read up on the survey, and maybe sling the creator a few bucks. That I know they're on Patreon. Yeah, but other than that, what I really liked about that game was I think it was really polished and quite professional. Alright, thank you for joining me here. Cough, cough, cough. See you next time on Quick Games. Take care. Bye.